Chosen one. Pause for a moment and honestly acknowledge the quiet exhaustion weighing heavily within you. Because what has made you weary does not come only from the tasks you have completed or the responsibilities you continue to carry. A deeper instability has been draining you. Yesterday you felt filled with light, steady, and close to the divine presence. But today you awakened feeling empty, directionless, and doubtful of everything you once believed with certainty. You wonder where you may have taken a wrong step, what you may have lost, or whether some mistake you cannot even recognize caused grace to withdraw from you. I want you to stop punishing yourself in this very moment. You have not failed some secret test, nor have you been abandoned because of one day of weakness. The hand that held you during the days of clarity is still holding you while the clouds gather. What has changed is not the love surrounding you, but merely the condition of your feelings, which are rising and falling after a long journey through overwhelming pressure. You have become accustomed to measuring your growth by temporary emotions. When your heart is filled with peace, you believe you are moving forward. When heaviness returns, you immediately assume that every previous effort has disappeared. But, my child, a tree does not stop growing simply because the sky is cloudy for a day. And the water beneath the ground does not vanish merely because the surface has become dry. What has been cultivated within you is not erased by one night of exhaustion. The clarity you once received is still there. The lessons you have lived through are still taking root. And the strength you once touched was not an illusion. You are simply learning how to carry these things into ordinary life, where you will not always feel radiant or visibly supported. True growth is not found in always remaining upon the highest peak, but in your ability to remain faithful to what is right, even when the excitement is gone. You do not need to fly high at every moment to prove that your wings remain whole. I know you have passed through the same cycle many times. You begin a new season with powerful faith. Establish good habits. Pray sincerely, and feel renewed within. Yet, after only a few days, old worries return. Negative thoughts knock at the door once more, and you feel as though you are standing back at the beginning. At such moments, you usually conclude that you lack discipline, faith, or worthiness to continue. Yet what you call a return to the old place is often simply a deeper layer being brought into the light. You are not walking around a meaningless circle. You are moving along a spiral, passing through familiar themes with greater understanding each time. Whenever you face fear again, you are no longer the person you were before. You now possess more experience, greater awareness, and an increased ability to choose differently. Do not despise quiet progress simply because it has not instantly created a permanent feeling. The greatest leak within you does not come from a lack of strength, but from the way you continually give authority to condemning voices. Whenever you have a difficult day, you allow a cold voice to tell you that everything you have built is meaningless. Whenever you slow down, you assume that you have been left far behind. Whenever your heart no longer feels the same warmth, you panic and believe the divine presence has departed from you. That panic drains you more deeply than the trial itself. It causes you to spend your energy trying to prove yourself, recover an old feeling, and force yourself back immediately into a condition you believe you must maintain. I do not want you to continue living this way. You do not need to chase a feeling in order to know that you are loved. You do not have to create excitement to prove that you are still being guided. There are days when all you need to do is breathe. Rest. Take the next right step. And trust that silence can also be part of the journey. To close this cycle, you do not need to search for a distant or mysterious secret. You need to begin by guarding the inner doors of your life. Pay attention to what you permit to enter your mind immediately after waking. Which words you repeatedly speak when difficulties arise, and which people continually cause you to question your worth. Perhaps you have prayed for peace while opening the door each day to content that fills you with anxiety. Perhaps you desire stability while spending too much time listening to those who continually plant fear within you. Perhaps you want to preserve clarity while still returning to habits that weaken your will. I do not say this to condemn you, but to return the power of choice to you. What is precious must be protected through awareness. A garden cannot remain green and flourishing when its caretaker continually leaves the gate open for everything to enter. Protection does not mean closing your heart to life. It means knowing what is permitted to remain within your sacred space. You must also stop forcing yourself to absorb too much within too little time. You have searched for answers, listened to one message after another, collected countless pieces of advice, and then felt guilty because you could not apply them all. But lasting transformation is not created by the amount of knowledge you gather. It is formed through one genuine truth, lived faithfully each day. Choose one reminder that brings light to your heart and practice it calmly. If you need forgiveness, begin by no longer repeating the old story in a way that deepens the wound. If you need boundaries, offer a gentle yet firm refusal. If you need rest, permit yourself to put down your work without calling yourself lazy. If you need to return to the divine presence, set aside a quiet space, not to ask for something more, but simply to remain there. One seed cared for consistently will produce deeper fruit than 100 seeds scattered and then forgotten. You must also recognize that exhaustion is sometimes an invitation to return and care for yourself. I do not ask you to prove your faithfulness by neglecting your need for rest, nourishment, movement, or silence. You are a whole being. When one part is pushed beyond its limits, your entire life begins to tremble. There have been nights when you called exhaustion an invisible battle, while what you truly needed was to put down your phone, drink water, and receive a full night of sleep. There have been mornings when you believed you had lost your connection, while in truth you were simply depleted after many days without allowing yourself room to breathe. Divine wisdom is not separated from simple things. The more you respect your limits, the more clearly you will distinguish between the voice of guidance and the reaction of an exhausted mind. Rest does not remove you from the path. Sometimes it is precisely how you return to the proper rhythm. Therefore, I do not promise that from this day forward you will never experience another moment of weakness, because peace does not come through eliminating every fluctuation. I give you something more stable, the ability to no longer allow every wave to convince you that you have lost the ocean. You may still pass through dim days without denying the existence of light. You may feel distant without believing you have been rejected. You may pause to recover without calling it failure. From now on, whenever the old cycle attempts to pull you back, tell yourself that this emotion is only passing through, while the foundation within you remains. Place your hand upon your chest. Breathe slowly. And remember that you do not need to solve your entire life in one evening. You only need to remain faithful to the small step before you. My child, what is being healed is not your ability to feel strong at every moment, but your fear that one moment of weakness can erase everything good within you. When that fear loses its authority, you will no longer be thrown upward and pulled downward by every emotional change. You will learn how to stand steadily in the middle, where humility meets courage, where you neither exalt yourself on bright days nor condemn yourself on dark ones. I am still here, not only when you can clearly sense me, but also when you cannot feel anything at all. I am still guiding you, not only through great signs, but through ordinary decisions to rest at the right time. Speak truthfully, establish boundaries, and begin again without shame. You do not need to complete some mysterious spiritual download in order to become whole. You only need to stop abandoning yourself whenever you become tired. Remain with gentleness. Continue walking in peace. And remember that your growth is not measured by whether you have never trembled, but by whether you know how to return to the light without fear after every moment of instability. I know that a new person is stirring within you, because the signs of restoration have already begun to appear upon the old life you once believed would cover you forever. These movements are not always loud, nor must they be accompanied by some dramatic event for you to recognize them. Often, they appear only as an unnameable feeling, a sudden flash of clarity, or a quiet pain when you see someone else living with the freedom your heart has always desired. You may have interpreted these things as instability, weakness, or evidence that you have failed to appreciate your present life. But I want you to become calm and look more deeply. Because certain disturbances do not come to destroy peace, they come to awaken the truest part of you that has slept for too long. When an old garment no longer fits, you feel restricted before you realize how much you have grown. When the light within becomes stronger, the shell that once protected you begins to feel heavy. This is not a sign that you are falling apart. It is an announcement that what is genuine is seeking to return to its proper place. The first sign is the restlessness that quietly follows you. Even when everything appears complete and stable from the outside, you may have work, responsibilities, familiar relationships, and a rhythm of life that others believe should satisfy you. Yet deep within there remains a whisper telling you that life cannot end here. That whisper does not necessarily demand that you abandon everything or rush recklessly into change. It simply refuses to allow you to continue living far from your highest values. You tried to fill that empty space with busyness, temporary pleasure, and the habit of caring for everyone else before listening to yourself. But the feeling continued to return. At times, you blamed yourself for being ambitious or ungrateful. But I tell you that genuine gratitude does not require you to deny the call to grow. You can appreciate what you have while still recognizing that you are being invited to go deeper, live more honestly, and offer something more meaningful. Yet you must treat that restlessness with discernment. Not every discomfort is a command to act immediately. And you do not need to consider support from a trustworthy person or qualified professional shameful when your emotions become too heavy. I am not teaching you to deny your genuine needs. I only want you to stop silencing every inner signal before you understand what it is trying to tell you. Some restlessness is born from fear, but another kind appears when you have lived for too long within a pattern that no longer reflects your true self. To distinguish between them, observe the results they produce. What arises from fear usually makes you panicked, impulsive, and contemptuous toward yourself. A genuine inner prompting, even when powerful, will guide you toward integrity, responsibility, and deeper peace. It does not command you to destroy everything. It invites you to begin repairing the parts of your life that have moved away from what you know to be right. There will also be sudden moments of brightness, like clouds unexpectedly parting to reveal a clear sky. For a few brief minutes, you may think more clearly, create more easily, or suddenly know precisely which decision must be made. Matters that once confused you become simple. You see a direction, a possibility, or a freer version of yourself. And for that moment, everything appears to fit together. Then the clarity closes. Old doubts return, and you wonder whether the moment was genuine or merely imagined. I want you not to dismiss those flashes of light. They are not a complete map, but they may be small openings through which you glimpse the life waiting to be restored. They remind you that your clarity has never disappeared. It was merely hidden beneath exhaustion, pain, and too many competing voices within you. When these moments come, do not try to hold them through tension, and do not chase every idea as though it were an absolute command. Receive them quietly. Write down what you saw, and allow time to test it through peace and good results. What is true will not visit once and then leave you trapped in confusion. It will return in different forms, becoming increasingly clear until you are mature enough to receive it. Just as the light of a lamp may flicker before it burns steadily, these moments of clarity are helping your eyes adjust to another way of living. They remind you that beneath the years of obscurity, your capacity to think, create, choose, and lead remains intact. You are not beginning from emptiness. You are learning how to reconnect with what was already planted within you. The next sign often causes the greatest discomfort, because it appears when you see another person living courageously in something you once dreamed of doing. A subtle yet deep pain rises within you. You may try to ignore it, accuse yourself of jealousy, or believe that it reveals something unkind within you. But not every pain you feel before another person's success carries a negative meaning. Sometimes it is recognition. What you see in them touches a design within you that has not yet been opened. The way they speak, create, move beyond fear, or devote their life to a purpose may awaken the question of why you are not yet living in the same freedom. That pain has not come to diminish you. It has come to reveal which part of you is still waiting to be acknowledged. Learn to turn that feeling into guidance rather than comparison. You do not need to become a copy of anyone, because what moves you in them is only a mirror reflecting one of your own possibilities. Ask yourself what aspect of their life touched you: their freedom, courage, disciplina, creativity, or honesty. When you name it correctly, you will no longer be preoccupied with taking their place. You will begin building your own life. Admiration that has been purified can become direction. Pain that is properly understood can become motivation. Another person does not take away your opportunity by shining. Sometimes they are simply proving that the kind of life you desire can exist. They are not evidence that you are too late. They are a reminder that the door is real. Therefore, if you recognize even one of these movements, do not immediately conclude that you are damaged, ungrateful, or lost. You may simply be living through the final days of a covering that has lasted too long. That darkness was formed from the things you believed about yourself. from failures that caused you to make your dreams smaller, from relationships that taught you to remain silent in order to be accepted, and from years spent merely surviving instead of truly living. But something being hidden does not mean it has been lost. The light remains, and your restlessness is the knocking from within. The flashes of clarity are the first cracks in the wall. The pain you feel when watching others walk in freedom is a hidden memory, reminding you that you too are being called out of confinement. I do not require you to create an entirely unfamiliar person. I am not asking you to put on a new role to prove that you are special. What I am doing is bringing you home. You are not a structure without a foundation. You are a house that has gathered dust. While beautiful and radiant rooms still exist beneath the neglect, you do not need to invent your worth again, because your worth never left you. You need only remove the layers of fear, the false conclusions, and the habits that caused you to live beneath your true capacity. Restoration does not happen in one night, but every time you choose honesty instead of hiding, discipline instead of delay, and healthy love instead of cheap acceptance, another part of your true self is returned to the light. Be patient with this process. My beloved, do not turn awakening into another race in which you pressure yourself to change quickly in order to feel worthy. You have lived under pressure for too long. Now, move forward with steadiness. Listen to your restlessness, but do not allow panic to control it. Receive the flashes of clarity, but let time test them. Observe the pain that arises when you see others, and use it to identify the part of your life that is asking to be built. You have not been left behind. You also do not need to compete for someone else's journey. What belongs to you will open when you become honest enough to stop hiding from yourself. I tell you again that the secret is not that you must become someone else, but that you must allow what has long been genuine within you to live again. You are not being created from emptiness. You are awakening from years of forgetting yourself. Every trace of beauty, wisdom, creativity, and courage you have glimpsed during rare moments is evidence that your true self never disappeared. Therefore, stop calling these signals signs of damage. See them as the knocking of dawn upon a window that has remained closed for too long. The covering is becoming thinner, and the light within you is finding its way back. When you open the door, you will not meet a stranger. You will meet yourself again, the version that was once forgotten and is now ready to rise in peace, clarity, and freedom. You no longer need to wait for your season to appear, because the door you have prayed for is beginning to open in the present moment. I want you to pause, not to abandon your work, responsibilities, or the people and things you care for, but to quiet the noisy race taking place within your mind. You have waited for a long time, done everything you could, and repeatedly wondered when your efforts would finally bear fruit and when the silent years would be rewarded. There were moments when you watched others move ahead, then looked back at yourself and felt as though life had forgotten your name somewhere within a very long list. But I tell you that no sincere prayer has ever been lost, and no tear has fallen without being known. What you believed was standing still was actually being arranged in a place you could not yet see. And now the layers of the veil are slowly lifting so that you may understand that delay was never rejection. I have watched you try to fit every part of your life together with your own exhausted hands. You picked up each small piece, turned it in many directions, forced it into places that seemed suitable, and then became disappointed when the full picture still would not appear. You blamed yourself for lacking wisdom, sensitivity, or for missing some opportunity. Yet, my child, not every piece was given to you at the same time. Certain parts were withheld, not to confuse you, but because, if they had arrived too early, you would have placed them incorrectly. Certain people, doors, and opportunities had to come at the proper time, when your heart had become steady enough not to exchange peace for something that merely appeared bright. Now the missing pieces are gradually moving toward you, and you will understand why the former ones could not fit, no matter how hard you tried. Therefore, what you need is not more effort to control every result, but the courage to open the hands you have kept tightly closed for so long. You have become accustomed to predicting every danger, constructing dozens of possible scenarios, and searching for answers to events that have not yet occurred. Your mind is tired from living among endless questions. What if this fails? What if that person leaves? What if the door closes? What if I must begin again? These questions are like many small streams flowing into one place until they become a flood that carries away your clarity. I do not condemn you for worrying. I know that you were only trying to protect what you love. But the time has come for you to understand that not everything must be held through your own strength. Certain results can be received only when you stop suffocating them with fear. The surrender I am teaching you is not indifference, nor does it mean sitting still and waiting for everything to arrive without action. Surrender means doing your part without allowing the outcome to determine your worth. It means planting the seed faithfully and allowing time to complete the remaining work. It means walking through an open door without demanding to see the entire road beyond it. It means continuing to live responsibly without carrying the whole world upon your shoulders. As you learn to live this way, your mind will gradually possess more space, and within that space, clarity will return. You will recognize an opportunity you previously overlooked because you were too occupied with defending yourself. You will hear a quiet instruction amid the confusion. You will know when to move forward, when to wait, and when to close something that no longer belongs in your new season. I am opening plans before you that are greater than anything you imagined during your lonely nights. But to enter them, you cannot carry every fear from the old season as necessary baggage. Some thoughts once helped you survive, but they cannot help you flourish. Some habits once protected you from pain, but now cause you to distrust even what is good. Some relationships you continue trying to preserve only because you fear the emptiness, even though deep within, you know they have completed their purpose. I do not ask you to erase the past or deny the lessons you received. I only ask you to stop allowing the past to determine the limits of tomorrow. What happened may explain why you became cautious, but it does not possess the authority to declare that you must live forever in fear and scarcity. Remember the person who was cast into a deep and dark place, misunderstood, forgotten, and convinced that every beautiful dream had ended. During the years when no one could see him, he did not know that each difficult circumstance was quietly teaching him what would be necessary for a greater responsibility. At the proper time, the door he could not open, through his own strength, opened by itself, and the place that once resembled a prison became the corridor leading toward a new position. I remind you of this, not so that you will dream of power or praise, but so that you may understand that the place where you now stand may be preparing you for something you do not yet possess enough perspective to recognize. You are not being buried. You are being placed deeply so that a foundation may form. You are not forgotten. You are being protected from doors that would open before you were ready. Therefore, when I tell you to pause and listen, I do not want you to live with impatience or wait for a spectacular sign. My calling may come through an unexpected peace when you consider a decision, a gentle warning before a choice that appears attractive, or an idea that returns many times without filling you with panic. You must learn to distinguish guidance from pressure. What comes through peace will not require you to exhaust yourself in order to prove your worth. What is genuinely meant for you will not force you to betray your values in order to obtain it. The right door may still demand courage, but it will not require you to lose yourself. Slow down long enough to recognize the difference, because not every opportunity is an invitation, and not every delay is an obstacle. Your future is not being built upon panic, but upon small choices made with awareness. Today, you can begin by no longer arguing with what you cannot change, rehearsing disasters that have not happened, or believing that you must know the entire route before you are permitted to take one step. Do well what is before you. Keep your heart pure. Care for what has been entrusted to you, and allow the unclear parts to remain quietly in my hands. When you release the need to understand everything, you do not become weak, you become free. You will possess more strength to recognize opportunities, more calmness to make decisions, and more patience not to pick up again what I am helping you put down. I know you have hoped before and then been disappointed. So, now you are cautious whenever you hear promises about the future. You fear that if you trust once more, you will again have to gather the broken pieces of yourself. But, my child, I do not ask you to build faith upon temporary emotion. I want you to look at the road you have traveled and recognize that even through your darkest days, you were still guided here. What you believed would destroy you made you deeper. The people who left created room for growth. The doors that closed prevented you from entering places that did not belong to you. You do not need to understand every reason before you can acknowledge that you have been protected in many quiet ways. Now, allow your mind to become still. Stop trying to seize through pressure what is being prepared to arrive at the proper time. The new season does not require you to become another person overnight. It requires only that you step out of your former way of thinking. Do not call yourself trapped when you are being redirected. Do not call the waiting periods empty when foundations are being built beneath them. Do not believe the future has moved away simply because you cannot yet see the entire picture today. I am placing each piece where it belongs, bringing the right people closer, and separating you from what cannot accompany you into the next stage. Continue walking with open hands, calmness, and a trust that has been purified from impatience. When the time comes, you will not need to chase what belongs to you. You will recognize it by the peace that accompanies it. What is opening will be greater than an external achievement, because first it will renew the way you see yourself. You will no longer live like someone who constantly fears being left behind, but like someone who understands that every step carries meaning. Quiet the noise, release the heavy assumptions, and listen to the gentle guidance growing within you. The future is not standing in some distant place mocking your season of waiting. It is beginning in the very moment when you decide that fear will no longer rule your mind.